yesterday I tried to make a video about Rock and Roll. It was this movie I found from 1983 that had like all sorts of musicians in it for the soundtrack, and it looks really cool and legit and stuff. But that video got copyright blocked, so I will eventually try to do that video again. It's just that there's so many other videos I have planned that I don't think I could do that right now. So I'm sorry for if you even didn't even get to see that video. I apologize for that. I will eventually bring back that video somehow. It's literally on my tabs right now. I will bring it back somehow. I promise you I will try to bring it back, but for now I can't do that. So again, I truly am sorry. So today we're going to be talking about something else since I couldn't do that video. Today we're talking about an Archie comic character that did get a TV show, but didn't do so well because Coconut Panini kind of ruined the show because it was canceled because of the Coconut Panini. Who am I talking about exactly? What is this character? I'm talking about Katy Keene, who was actually called a Betty Page lookalike because she looks like the American model Betty May Page. I know nothing about Katy Keene, so this video is going to be very helpful. So Katy Keene was introduced in Wilbur Comics number 5 in the summer of 1945 and appeared in subsequent issues of Wilbur and various anthology comic series in 1940s, which include Jughead, Archie, Betty, and Veronica, and Ginger, who I do not know who Ginger is. So, there's that. So, she eventually received her own title in 1949, and her comics ran for 62 issues, briefly covered titles The Adventures of Katy Keene, which ran from 50 to 853, and simply Katy Keene from 54 to 62. That's the number of issues she had. Until July of 1961. It was accompanied by 15 issues of Katy Keene Pinup Parade, which ran from 1955 to 1961, and 13 issues, 1, 2, and 13 to 23, of Katy Keene Fashion Book Magazine, which ran from 1955 to 1959, along with annuals and specials such as Katy Keene Spectacular in 1956, Katy Keene Glamour in 1957, Katy Keene Charm in 1958, and Archie Giant Series magazine cover titled Archie Giant Series Presents Katy Keene Holiday Fun number 7, 1960, and number 12, 1961. Wow, y'all should count how many times I've been saying Katy Keene in this video. This is like weird. Katy Keene would eventually come back in 1980 and also 2005, but 2005 was a reintroduction, and we're going to get to that soon. But in 1980s, she was brought back. It was the winter of 1979 to 1980. Katy fan Craig Levitt began publishing, with Archie Comics' permission, a fanzine which was initially titled Katy, then became Katy, the newsletter for issues number 2 through 7, before finally becoming Katy Keene's magazine, which ran for 19 issues until 1985. Having been a longtime fan of the character, John S. Lucas's art was instrumental in the revival, and his work was featured in the magazine along with other artists and fan work. Several Katy Cons, which were conventions, were held in Santa Barbara, California, and then later in conjunction with the San Diego Comic-Con celebrating Wogan and Katy. Archie Comics decided to revive the character themselves in 1983, which is when that movie came out that I was talking about before, giving the character her own title by using reprint art of Woggins's, as well as new art by Don Sherwood, Vince Coletta, Iceman, and Dan DiCarlo. It ran as the Katy Keene, just K-E-E-N, special from September 1983 to October of 1984, issues 1 through 6, and then simply as Katy Keene from December of 1984 to January of 1990, issues 7 through 33. The first issue was released under the Red Circle Comics imprint, after which the covers carried an Archie Romance Series imprint. After seeing Lucas's art in the Katy Keene fan magazine thingy, and receiving letters from fans encouraging them to do so, Archie contacted Lucas asking him to do the art for the revived Katy Keene fan club, which included pens, lapel buttons, membership cards, notepads, t-shirts, and sweatshirts. Not long afterward, Archie bought Lucas as a regular Katy artist. During the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, Lucas carried on the Katy tradition with his comics, his annual Katy Keene Christmas cards, and paper dolls and paper doll books from Hobby House Press. In the early 1980s, Katy once again went into retirement, except for the 1994 appearance in Archie Meets the Punisher. Archie Meets the what? Archie Meets the Punisher. People were on crack back then, and I'm telling you. Like I mentioned before, she did come back in 2005. She was reintroduced now as a high school student and aspiring model in its 2005 Free Comic Book Day issue. She then appeared in Archie and Friends comics issue 101 and 110. The stories were then compiled in the trade paperback Katy Keene Model Behavior 2008. So in the new Riverdale line of comics, she was once again reintroduced in 2020 as part of the new Riverdale line of comics. She first appeared in Archie and Katy Keene, a 4-issue miniseries covering issue 710 and 713 within the Archie title. She was again a high school student and also an Instagram celebrity who moves to the city of Riverdale along with her teenage younger sister Sissy Keene. So creative with the names. Also in 2020, she was featured in the Archie Comics 8th Anniversary Presents number 8, which reprints stories from the original series. So there's that. So I did mention a character named Sissy Keene, and it's actually Katie's sister. She was introduced in the original Wagon 1950 series, and she's a redheaded, bespectacled younger sister, and she was a mischievous child around 7 years old, and she was only known as Sis the Candy Kid. In the 80s, she was drawn as a tween or a young teen and received the name Melissa, which was almost always, but she was almost still always called Sis, even though Missy is a nickname for Melissa, so anyways. And in the short-lived 2000 series, her given name was Mackenzie. No explanation for the name change was given, although it may be due to the obscurity of the 1980s name. Regardless, her real name is also never mentioned, and to both readers and characters, she was always called Sis. When Katie and her sister were reintroduced in 2020 for the Katy Keene TV show, her sister's name was revealed to actually be Sis Keene, short for Sissy Keene, instead of just Sis, just being a nickname like it was previously, in the original thing. Originally in the 1950s, Katie was 21 and her sister was 7 years old. In subsequent series, Katie is roughly the same age, but Sis is reimagined as being around 15 and has been so ever since. By this point, Katie has already been discovered in college after going to work as an aspiring Broadway star, and she became very successful in her modeling and acting career, so she became her sister's legal guardian. Katie has had many recurring boyfriends over the years, the most famous of which were the redhead. What is up with redheads in the Archie-verse? The redheaded and muscular boxer K.O. Kelly and his rich blonde rival Randy Van Ronson. They were not often seen regularly in the 1980s when Katie dated the Latino airline pilot and talented dancer Ramon Ramirez and the Arnold Schwarzenegger parody Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wow, that's so not funny. However, K.O. and Randy became her main love interests again in the 2000s. Katie's rival in her career and love life is the wealthy and snobby blondes are always a villain. Why? Gloria Grandblit, and her best friend is the superstitious redheads again. Luckily, Lorelai. Both Gloria and Lucky, I don't even know how to say it anymore, are also successful models, with the level-headed brunette Katie rounding out the trio. What can you do? Josie had villains too. Why not give Katie one too, even though we don't know shit about her?
Oops, did I speak my mind again? I'm sorry, next time I'll be louder.
The reception for the comics is that the character is ranked 57th in the Comics Buyer's Guide 100 Sexiest Women in Comics list. In 2014, comparisons were made between pop star Katy Perry and Katy Keene, but Katy Perry denied basing any of her image or costumes on the character and expressed surprise at the apparent similarities. As for the television series, it's very short on the Katy Keene character Wikipedia, so I'm just gonna head over to the TV series Wikipedia to make things easier. So, Friendly Space Ninja's arch emesis Roberto Aguirre Sacasa decided, hey, let's make a show about Katy Keene. Y'all know Katy Keene? No, too bad. We're gonna make a show about her. I can't. So, the premise of the show is that Katy Keene, the show takes place 5 years after the events of Riverdale, and it includes Katy Keene, but also Josie. So does that mean this show's technically a Josie and the Pussycat spinoff? No, because why would they do that? Because why would they do that? Because why would they do that? Editing me coming in here to warn you all that I slowly lose my mind during the part of talking about the television adaptation because I really truly despise Riverdale, like the show, and the show ticks me off. So, yeah, I apologize. There's something really funny about this, they do mention characters from the Katy Keene comics. It's just that you don't know who these people are. But the weirder thing about this show is that they brought in 2 characters from Josie and the Pussycats. Like, keep in mind, Alex and Alexandra were not in Riverdale, thank God. But they're in this show. And I think it's just because Josie's in this show, which makes no sense because Josie is the only one in this show. Not any of the other Pussycats, just Josie. Just Josie. And she's chasing her dreams in a Big Apple. Weren't you in a band? Let's calm down. Let's calm down here. Let's get to the development of the show. And how it connects to Riverdale. Oh, I'm so tired already. This is draining me already. I do not want to talk about Riverdale. I was going to make a list and post on YouTube of like the shows I would never review, and Riverdale's one of them. And now here I am talking about Riverdale, basically. Oh my god, whatever. So in 2018, Roberto Aguirre Sacasa revealed that another spinoff was in the works at the CW. So far, the only spinoffs we had for Riverdale were... I think the only spinoff we had was Sabrina. And then they're like, okay, let's give Katy Keene one. Even though, like, no one even knows who Katy Keene is. Because keep in mind, we do not have a Josie and the Pussycats, like, live-action spinoff show. That, like, we do not have one, which would have made so much sense. So much sense if they just made one. Because they casted... They put Alexander and Alexandra in this show. They put the Cabot siblings in this show. But yet they won't make a river. They won't. So here's the connection for Riverdale and Katy Keene. Like, I did wonder how the show's connected because I don't remember ever seeing Katy Keene in the show. On August 4th of 2019, Michael Grassi announced that there was going to be a crossover between Riverdale and Katy Keene in the future. The crossover episode aired on February 5th of 2020 as part of Riverdale and introduced Katy for the first time. Katy Keene crosses over with Riverdale in the 6th episode of the show. I don't even remember. I don't care. 4 episodes later of Katy Keene or whatever, Casey Cott reprised his role as Kevin Keller. Because apparently, Josie and Kevin became step-siblings. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done. I don't want to talk about Riverdale ever again. If I'm going to be talking about the Archie comics, yes, that's fine with me, but Riverdale? No. That show went downhill after season 2, and we can all collectively agree that the show went downhill after season 2. They had such a good thing going on, and then they just fucked it all up, and I'm very pissed off about that because they had something good and then they ruined it. You know, you could have ended the show at the 2nd season and then given Josie a spinoff, and no one would have even realized. No one would even cared. I mean, they would have cared because Josie deserves one. But at least if you gave Josie one, then meeting Alex and Alexandra makes sense. Then rather than just seeing them in Katy Keene be like, oh yeah, I know them. They're from Josie. Newsflash, some people don't even know about Alex and Alexandra unless they probably watched the cartoon when they were young and now they're old. But I'm okay. I'm alright. I'll live through this. Because the next thing I'm talking about, I'm so happy. The next Hanna-Barbera show we're talking about is Jabberjaw. And the thing about Jabberjaw is I never watched the show, but there was this funny, like, how do I explain it? They had this, like, music video thing, and I can't remember what it was called, but, like, the song was called Jabberjaw, and I'm trying to figure out where it is. It should be listed on the Wikipedia, that whole song they had, but for some reason it's not, and it's so weird that it's not. Like, that's just strange.
Oops, did I speak my mind again? I'm sorry, next time I'll be louder.